Greetings, and thank you for joining us for the 17th episode of DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
Hey, this is Jermaine speaking. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Chilling. I'm ready.
Excellent. I'm glad. It should be a good time. Before we jump into the film today, can you tell us a little bit about your DC consumption? Comic books, video games, movies, TV shows. What DC do you consume or have you been consuming?
I used to think that I've seen all of the DC animation, but then there's been a couple I was like, I don't remember this one. Because that's mainly where I get all my stuff. It's all mainly animated. I read a couple comic books, but I really didn't get into comic books until I started talking to Jordan. And I was just like, let me go buy me a comic book. So, I got a little bit. My Superman knowledge, though, it's a little, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, and that's fine. We have all levels of expertise on this show. Shout out to Jordan for getting you into the comic books. He's probably going to be disappointed if you're getting DC stuff, but that's fine.
You don't Batman all day, all
Uh,
day.
I'm glad we agree. All right, well, I appreciate you for joining us on this journey through DC animation. Today's film is Superman Unbound, released May 7th, 2013, and the comic book on which it is based is Superman Brainiac. I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just going to talk about it.
Fair enough.
And so we open with a green being getting juiced up during the opening credits. A tactical unit has kidnapped a woman and takes her off in a helicopter. We discover that the kidnapped woman is none other than Lois Lane. Evidently, Superman is busy, so Supergirl shows up and just ruins the bad guy's day. Superman does eventually show up and he starts lecturing Supergirl, and she's like, no, see, you don't understand what it's like to be powerless. I actually grew up on Krypton, and so I do understand what life is like without powers. So Lois is pissed off at Superman because he doesn't want anyone to know that they are dating, but also won't let her handle her own business when it comes to other men. An unknown object starts heading toward Earth, so Superman, got to go handle that. He catches it and it turns into a robot that he starts fighting. Superman does a Mortal Kombat fatality to the robot and wins the day. Back at the farm, Supergirl hears about the robot and goes to Superman's house to tell him about Brainiac and how he stole Krypton's capital city. Superman decides to go after Brainiac, of course. Then he and Lois have a discussion about how she wants to live a normal life with him. Superman reviews the info that Krypton gathered on Brainiac and comes across a planet that is being attacked by Brainiac. Superman tries to save the planet, but Brainiac destroys their sun, which destroys the planet and incapacitates Superman, allowing Brainiac to capture him. Back on Earth, Supergirl is kicking ass and taking names, all across the world. On Brainiac's ship, Superman wakes up and finds Brainiac's shrunken cities. Brainiac emerges and beats Superman one-on-one. He then scans him to learn the location of Earth and puts Superman in the captured Kryptonian city. Lois calls Supergirl because she's been saving the world but neglecting Metropolis. Supergirl explains the Brainiac situation to her. Superman meets with his aunt and uncle in the shrunken city, and then he uses the sentries to get himself teleported out. He then takes Kandor, the capital city of Krypton, disables Brainiac's engine room, and makes his way back to Earth. He explains the situation to Kara. They call her Kara in this. I'm going to call her Kara. I know her as Kara Danvers as opposed to Kara Danvers. That's a discussion we can have shortly. Upon arriving, but then there's a commotion in Metropolis. It's Brainiac who is awake and pissed. Supergirl wants to abandon the planet, but Superman convinces her to, help stop him. Brainiac's robots start giving people the scorpion treatment, and Superman and Supergirl start, going to work. Brainiac does manage to get Metropolis in the shrinking dome, and Superman is captured. Brainiac starts monologuing about how Earth ain't shit, not really even worth keeping. So, this activates the power of friendship. So Superman breaks out, saves Supergirl, and goes to war with Brainiac's robot army. Brainiac releases the star-killing missile, which Supergirl goes to handle, and Superman knocks Brainiac out of his ship. He gets overstimulated and is defeated by his own germophobia. They regrow Krypton and Kandor, and Supergirl reunites with her parents. Clark announces their relationship by kissing Lois and proposing to her in front of everyone. Credits.
I got one thing to say.
Okay.
You got that voice. You got that Morgan Freeman March of the Penguins voice. All right. I'm just gonna throw that out there real quick.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you.
That was great.
So, what did you think of the movie?
When you said I had to do Superman, like I said, I wasn't that excited. Then you said Brainiac. Then I seen Brainiac was in it. Oh, I'm in. I love me some Brainiac.
Okay,
Love it.
Okay. Well, the other member of our main podcast, Brandon, probably not going to be happy to hear about the fact that you were not excited about Superman, but Brandon's going to be okay.
He don't have a choice.
Yeah, Brandon's a Superman guy, as I'm sure we all know. So, okay, good. What were your thoughts about the art style? If you are familiar with DC movies, then you know they all have completely different art styles from each other. So how did you feel about the art style that they chose for this movie?
I don't know. I thought it was funny that Superman had that long chin. Like it was just he almost touched his chest.
Yeah, he did. He did have a crimson chin a little bit in this. And I mean, I guess he's known for having a chiseled jaw.
Oh, it was chiseled, all right.
Yeah.
Straight rectangle. But no, I actually really liked it though. I like all the different art styles that kind of like I don't like seeing the same thing. So it's nice to see something different every now and then to make it still go together,
Yeah, and I agree. I think that I actually like the art style they chose for this movie. It's I mean, it's not my favorite art style across these movies, but I mean, this one's pretty good. And I'm not sure if it's the only time we see this art style, but this movie does stand alone, so there's no sequel to it, and it doesn't like belong in an animated universe for movies that we've talked about or will talk about. It's just on its own. It starts and ends, and that's just what it is. So I don't know that we see this art style again, but I'm pretty sure we don't. Did you have an opinion on the voice cast?
No, not really, to be honest. I focus on some, especially like, you get that one voice, you're like, oh, Kevin Conroy. That's my guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but not too much though, but none of them really bothered me at all.
Okay. And that's kind of how I was in this. Nobody's voice was a problem for me. I think that Brainiac was cast pretty well. And yeah, like the guy who voiced Superman, I like him in other stuff that he's in, but I think that yeah, there wasn't anybody that I had a problem with or didn't like. So I think that went well. So one question that I do have for you, what in the movie, we see how Lois and Superman interacted with each other. How did you feel about Lois in this movie?
That's a really good question. But I felt like I think she had a point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. Women don't always need protecting, but sometimes you know what I'm saying? I'm your man. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna protect. That's what I'm here for. I know you can take care of yourself, but you don't need to take care of yourself because I got you. You know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, with Lois, I was I wasn't sure because there was one point where I was like, Lois is getting on my nerves. Um, and I think that's because I'm able to see everything, and like on one hand, I kind of see where she was coming from, but like I agreed with Superman for the most part. Like I there's a reason that I am not announcing to the world that we're together because it's going to be a problem eventually. The fact that you already get into as much danger as you do right now, and I don't like that, by the way, will only be amplified if we announce that we go together because there are a lot of people who and that's the thing. Regular ass people are not who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the most dangerous people that could show up. And the most dangerous people are going to be the ones who will immediately know who I am. There are a couple of situations where we see something like that. So, in matter of fact, in All Star Superman, in episode 10, there's a lot of stuff that happens in that movie. There are two things that happen in that movie that, specifically bring this to mind for me. One of the things is whenever Superman is in the prison with Lex Luthor and they walk near Parasite, Parasite can just smell Superman and immediately gets like juiced up and is like powerful and ready to go at this point. And that's just from being in his presence. And then we have those two random Kryptonians that showed up for like 5 minutes. They showed up at Superman's job and said, look at this motherfucker pretending to be one of these weak humans.
Right. Why aren't you working right now? You can just take over the whole world. Like, come on, let's
And
go.
and so like that's what I'm talking about. So like those Kryptonians, for example, they immediately knew who he was. Like him being in character and all that didn't make a bit of difference. And so if you come across an enemy like that, then that whole me being with Superman and me being with Clark is two different things. No, it's not. There are a lot of people who could immediately deduce that y'all are the same person and immediately take Lois and put her in danger. And so that's the kind of shit that Superman is trying not to have because he says to her, like, Clark and Superman are one and the same. And anyone who knows that is going to be a problem.
Right. And it's not hard. Sorry. It's not hard to even, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He put on the glasses. Oh, now he's somebody else. Huh?
That's always been stupid. Like,
Don't make no sense. That man looked just the same, but he got his glasses on. Clark Kent, Superman. Like, come on, let's get it together, please.
Also, Clark Kent and Superman are always gone at the same time.
Somehow in the same place.
But also, like, okay, so let's say they have different faces or whatever. Like, let's say the glasses really do make you look different. They're the same size. How many people do you know that are that size? Not very many, especially in the same city. And I could go on and on about how that secret identity thing with Superman is absurd. But I said all of that to say I see where Superman was coming from, and I agree with him far more than I agree with Lois, because it's not a situation where he was like, I'm ashamed of you, and that's why I'm keeping you a secret. It was very much a situation of, I am doing what I can to keep you safe, because dating me is already not easy to do. And you already get into enough danger with your line of work. And so if we announce that we're together, then like the level of the amount of time you spend in mortal danger is going to increase a lot, and that is simply by being connected to him. And
like that first. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like that first scene. It's the very first scene. Wow. Oh, who could that be?
Yeah, like
takes the mask off Lois Lane. Like out of everybody you could snatch, you want to snatch her? Come on, man. Out of everybody. And how'd she get there?
She was in there trying to dig up some stuff. Because What Lois is not going to do is mind her business. That's what Lois is not going to do. It's literally
Nosy as
her.
hell.
It is her job to mind other folks' business. That
Well,
is
you know,
journalism. So yeah,
had
I
to get
mean,
that professional. Yeah.
she's out there working. But I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that, just because I can kind of see where she's coming from, but I am far more inclined to agree with Superman on that one. And I don't know if
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
because I'm a man, uh, but no, I absolutely think that Superman should still not have told anybody because it's going to be a problem.
oh, eventually. But luckily, this is a standalone. We ain't got to worry about it just yet. No.
Yeah, you're right. The movie ends, everything's fine. So yeah, we're good there.
They
Um,
already knew that was a bad decision in the beginning, so that's why they just made it a standalone, just because of that part right there. They was just like, forget
yeah.
it.
Okay. And so, in the comic book on which this movie is based, there are a couple of differences. Some of these movies have like a very strong, like this, like it's just panel for panel what happened in the comic book. This one did take some liberties, make a couple of changes. Some of them are kind of small and some of them are larger. So, one of the things that is different in the comic book is that Kandor doesn't get its own planet. In this movie, Superman is like, yeah, there's a planet with a red sun that's like not far from here. I'll just take them there and they'll be fine. Um, in the comic book, I'm sorry, that happens in the movie. In the comic book, Superman just releases them in the Arctic. So I think on the North Pole, but I'm not sure. But I think on the North Pole. Um, Another thing that happens in the comic book that doesn't happen in this movie. Brainiac releases a missile that blows up the Kent farm, the Kent family farm.
Oh, he
And
petty.
yeah,
He
and
petty.
um in the comic book, Jonathan Kent, uh his dad on the farm, has a heart attack and dies. And so not quite a happy ending.
Yo, hey, comic books get dirty. They get
Yeah.
dirty. I'm pretty sure that's why they cut that out. I was like, no, we can't have that. That's too deep.
Yeah, they were like, let's keep that PG-13.
Yeah.
Even though there's a movie, there's a DC live action movie that happened recently that had a similar thing. So in Blue Beetle, spoiler warning for the Blue Beetle movie. Have you seen Blue Beetle?
I unfortunately have not.
Okay, well then never mind. I'm not going to talk about it. Once you have seen Blue Beetle, you will know exactly what I was going to say.
So
So,
slow.
um, but that's fine. Anyway, one of the things that I thought was funny that happened in this movie, whenever Superman fought that first robot that landed on Earth, he definitely tried to put it in a chokehold.
He was getting tossed.
Like, Superman, what are you doing? You're not going to choke out that robot. And I always think dumb shit like that is funny. But yeah, I don't know why that happened, but whatever. Um, so let's talk through this movie a little bit. We've already talked about how Lois was kidnapped, and then Supergirl shows up, and then Supergirl fucks them up a little bit.
She blasted through a missile. Okay, no phase. She didn't even blink. All right, and the dude tried to shoot the gun. Come on now, just give up now. It's
Yeah,
time to
but
stop.
just stop it. What are you doing? Like, you've lost. Just take that. All you're gonna do is piss her off, and you're gonna make her look at you. And I mean, maybe he was like, I had to try or whatever.
Mm-mm. See,
Okay.
I couldn't be a villain. I would have threw the gun straight out the helicopter. I would have jumped. Ugh.
Yeah.
Maybe while they chasing them, I can get away because it's over with. She didn't showed up. Talking
Yeah,
about
she's here
Superman
now.
got a what do you say, a earthquake, a 7.2 earthquake to deal with. Um, do you know Superman flies really fast? I believe Lois Lane said that.
Real fast.
He said he was like, we'll take our chances. Mm. Wrong chances.
You don't want to do that. Not with Superman. And I'm sure they did not expect Supergirl, because the whole reason they were like, we know for a fact Superman is busy, so now's the time. We have to strike while the iron's hot. And they did not expect Supergirl to show up. And yeah, she definitely gave them some problems.
Right. The helicopter was still flying, and she was just standing still and just knocked out the propeller.
Yep.
And there they went.
And then, of course, Superman shows up and just gets to lecturing. And it's so funny. Every movie that I have seen so far, at least I'm pretty sure, there's a point when Superman starts lecturing and whoever he's lecturing checks him. And it's so funny to me that, Superman is supposed to be this beacon of hope and he's supposed to, represent all of these positive things. And yet, every time he starts lecturing about truth and justice and all that, the person that he's talking to is able to make a point that Superman has nothing to say.
Dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back to you on that one. Yeah, that's what I thought. Walk away, big boy.
Yeah, that's every single time. It's been all right, shut the fuck up. And, yeah, like every single time, because in episode 2, Wonder Woman checks him. I'm pretty sure
hard.
That yeah, like she
hard.
That one was mean.
Oh, so you think I'm just supposed to let that happen? Well, you could have at least. Nah, they can do whatever they want.
Nah.
It's their turn.
Yeah, no, I let them do what they thought was right, and that's what they thought was right. So that's what we do. He gets checked in. I think he gets checked in All-Star Superman. I honestly can't remember. I know he gets checked in Superman versus the Elite. By Manchester. Like, oh, that one. Yikes. So in all of these movies, Superman just tries really hard to do some lecturing, and then somebody's like, but no. And he has nothing to say about it. And this is another one of those moments whenever he starts lecturing Supergirl, and she's like, you don't understand what it's like to not have powers. You have had powers literally your entire life being here. I grew up as a regular person, and so I have a better understanding for these people than you ever will. And yeah, like she was like, I know what it's like to be powerless. I know what it's like to actually be in danger. I know what it's like to have my life threatened, and you don't. So you are not the one to lecture me about this. And that's the end of that conversation.
Right. And then she was like, and I'm older than you. He was like, technically, you're not.
Yeah, that was just her being difficult and a teenager, the whole older
exactly. And it just cracked me up. Like, why did that have to come into the conversation? We didn't even need all that.
We really didn't. But okay. So yeah, there's that. He and Lois have a couple of conversations, and we've kind of talked about that already. One of the things that I'm glad he did say was, you will never have a normal life if you date me. And it's like, yeah, Lois, I need you to, I don't know how you didn't know that. Like,
right, because I am Superman. I gotta be everywhere at once. So, it's just it probably wouldn't work out anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're in the middle of dinner with another couple, and then all of a sudden you just gotta disappear, and then you never come back, and you just leave your girl there. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it mean gone. You ain't coming back.
Yeah. I don't know why you thought things was gonna be normal, but okay. That's
let's have kids. Let's have kids. Let's go out. Nah.
And that's the thing. I understand the want and desire for that. I understand the I would like to have a normal life and I would like for these things to happen. I'm not mad at her for wanting those things, but you should. My thought is, you know what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that you were not under any kind of impression that this was just, like, being with me was going to be normal because I'm Superman. Like, that's not how it works. But okay. I mean, it's like, let's use Michelle Obama as an example. Whenever she and Barack had the I want to be the president conversation, She wasn't happy about it, but she knew what we were signing up for.
Yeah.
And, there are going to be days when she's pissed off, but she knows what she signed up for. And so it is what it is.
I kind of low key want to be a fly in that room. Hey, baby, I'm gonna run for president. You doing what? I'm running for president. You okay? No. All right, I already hit the button. It's already too late. I already
Yeah,
did it.
like I already put
I'm
in the
running for
application.
president. I'm running for president. That's what I
I
probably should have said.
already sent off my cover letter. Like we're already doing it.
Right, with the wife, you just gotta tell them in the beginning, because if you ask a question, because then that means you can get a no, and sometimes it's too late.
See, no, I disagree. I think that's a terrible idea. We should talk about it, because that's not a decision you just make. Because that affects everybody. We need to talk about it and agree, because it's gonna be a problem if we don't. Because just like if Michelle was like, hey, I'm gonna just run for president and I'm gonna tell Barack later, like, nah, we're not doing that. So no, I very sincerely hope that Barack was like, hey, Michelle, sit down. We need to talk about something. And then he told her what he wanted to do. And then she probably ran through all of here's the reason you don't want to do that. And then he was like, well, I think I'm prepared for it. And she was like, okay, I support you. We'll make it, but this wasn't my idea.
Don't forget, look at all the other presidents. See what happens when they get finished? They look older. So you want that? You know what I'm saying?
You trying to grow gray right now?
As soon as he won, there was the first gray piece, and she was like, I told you.
Yeah, happened immediately. But yeah, Lois should have known that life wasn't just about to be normal. And I kind of don't like how she was coming to Superman, but maybe that's just me. There may be people who think that she was well within her rights. And again, I'm not saying that she was just wrong. I understand where she was coming from. There were some points that she made, but at the end of the day, I agree with and stand by Superman's decision.
Unfortunately, he got a point, though. Unfortunately, he got a point.
Yeah.
He has that point.
Now, one thing that I did also, I guess, enjoy is that Superman hadn't dealt with Brainiac. So, well, I enjoyed this, but I also had a problem with it. So, Superman hadn't dealt with Brainiac. So, Superman really didn't know what he was up against. Supergirl had seen Brainiac and knew exactly what was up. And so she had fear in her heart and was immediately like, nah, we do not want these problems. And Superman was like, no, we have to save everybody. We can't be afraid. We have to be brave. And she was like, no, fuck that. Let's leave and start over, because this dude is a problem. And
she left Metropolis.
Yeah.
Out of there.
Yeah, she avoided Metropolis. And then whenever Brainiac got there, she was like, Clark, we could leave and start over, but the city is lost. There's nothing we can do. Now, the thing that I have a problem with is the fact that I don't know if this is necessarily a trope or whatever, but I don't all the way like that they made the female superhero afraid and ready to abandon everything, and the male superhero just like, no, we have to be brave and do it. I understand why that happened, but I see why it's a problem.
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying, because but like you said, you understand, like, the part but she's seen what Brainiac was up to,
And that's the
it.
thing. A part of me wonders if this was, them saying that, the woman is afraid and the man is not, or if that's just how it happened to lay out in this situation. And because she had seen what Brainiac did, the trauma that she had is why she responded the way she did. Because taking gender out of this, yeah, I'm not mad at her response. She watched it happen. She, as a teenager, saw the capital city get stolen.
Right, because it was like I, I think she
Or no, I'm
said it was
sorry.
like 7 months.
Yeah, like she
It was like
wasn't
only 7 months for her.
yeah, like she wasn't a teenager. She was like a child when it happened. So that trauma, I understand how we got here. I too would have been like, nah, fuck that. I saw what he can do. I want nothing to do with it. I watched it happen. I will not watch it happen again. So I see how she got where she was. And Superman, not having been through that, um, was like, nah, we got to handle it. But even if he had been through it, I'm sure he would have been like, no, I'm Superman. We have to save everyone. So I don't necessarily like that because Supergirl, in a lot of the things I've seen her in, is portrayed as fearless in a lot of stuff
Hmm.
and like almost to the point of hubris. And this was a little bit different. Um, but it's fine. I
But
I guess I'm not surprised.
I mean, you always need that one scared one though, and then you know what I'm saying. Then you get to watch them shine. And you're like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I guess you can say it is a trope because there is always that one person like, hey, no, we got to go in here, and that dude's like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like Tommy and Chucky. Tommy like, let's go, adventure on. Chucky like, ooh, I don't think we should be doing that. But then he's like, come on, Chucky, and then Chucky get what he want. And then Chucky like, all right, that wasn't too bad, but I
Yeah.
want to do it again though. But that's not. So so I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
No, you're right. That is, I think that it just happened to be that it was Supergirl that was scared. But again, the trauma that she went through absolutely justifies her response, in my opinion. And sometimes you do need somebody to help you through it whenever you do have that fear. And it being Superman makes sense. And okay, yeah, it's fine. I, you know, maybe I'm trying to be too woke and cause a problem when there isn't one. Okay. So when we see Brainiac, Brainiac's a problem. So you mentioned that whenever you saw that Brainiac was the one in this movie that you were excited about it. So uh are you very familiar with Brainiac? Is he one of your favorite Superman villains?
I mean, in my opinion, he's a top 5 villain, in my opinion. Because you get two Brainiacs. You either get the collective Brainiac or take over the world Brainiac. And each one is great. Like they both, in my opinion, have no negatives. Just like my favorite Brainiac is when Justice League meets up with Static Shock because Brainiac's electric. They need somebody that's electric. So they go call him down, and he's just taking over. I love it. But and he always comes back. We'll see Brainiac again. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, always. And then there are a bunch of different versions of Brainiac, and yeah, like I'm starting to hear like Brainiac with numbers attached, like Brainiac 5, and yeah, like Brainiac's one of those things that's always there, if you will.
Right. You're like, how are you coming back this week?
Yeah. And then there are even good Brainiacs. So, because in the Supergirl show, the Brainiac, well, one of the Brainiacs in that show is like the good guy and helps out with a lot of stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure that everyone has their own favorite version of Brainiac. But yeah, this Brainiac, he was a problem. Like
Oh,
every time Superman fought him on the ship, he was too much for him.
smashed. He was getting smashed. I don't know. And I love to see it. I like to see Superman get beat up because it's just you're Superman and you just be getting punched on and tossed, wrapped down, can't get up. Like you supposed to be Superman. You can't get up, Superman. Come on, man, get up.
Yeah, like there was a point where Superman was getting rocked on that ship. And
Straight
so
smashed.
and the fact that Brainiac is able to shrink, like to basically abduct a city, shrink it, and then freeze it in time is a really fascinating ability.
Right. He's smart and stupid because he falls for the dumbest stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Because I'm wondering how he's able to pretty much abduct a city and like copy its environment entirely. So the fact that he was able to capture Candor and then like give it a red sun, I don't understand. Like I understand the capturing the city part, but how he's able to like replicate the environment in there is interesting for him to be able to
see?
do.
Right, because I was wondering about that. Like, how that man put a red sun in there? How is it like where did you well, I mean, in a part of his ship he did have a little mini solar system in there. So I guess it was easy, but then
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. And
where did he get
I
the
mean,
particles and stuff for that? You know, not particles, you know what I'm saying? Where did he get all the stuff to make a dang red sun? Or
you know,
did he just capture a red sun and shrink it? You know?
I, I guess he's Brainiac, and that's how. Uh, because oh well, and yeah, I think the mini solar system or the mini system might be exactly because he, whenever Superman was looking for Kandor, he looked at the map and was like, "Oh, this is based on how it's actually set up out there, so that means Kandor should be over here." So I guess yeah, he just built a miniature version of the universe, and
Yeah. And
that's
put
how he
himself
did
in the
it.
middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman was hot. He was low key hot about that. He was like, "Oh, so you capture all these cities and then put yourself in the middle?" Like, yeah, I'm Brainiac. I do what I want.
Yeah, he was like, "We're not humble on this ship. You little Kansas farm boy shit. No, we don't do that here."
Right. Well,
So
five fingers stay to the face. You know.
exactly. Oh God, yeah. Superman was getting his ass beat at different points, and he got incapacitated, more than once, and captured and all that. And Brainiac is the one who would be able to do that. So I guess it makes sense. But um, so yeah, Brainiac, and I'm wondering if because we saw Brainiac juicing up at the beginning of the movie. Um,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm guessing that he was able to juice himself up through knowledge he acquired from somewhere, but
Right.
also
Because
I don't see it.
I was also wondering, was that some random alien or was that Brainiac being turned into Brainiac? Was Brainiac making, you know, what I'm saying, making himself? Because you see, he was like taking, he took the eyeballs out. And it was like pulled those on out, and then he just, like you said, turned into Bane, started growing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually a good question. I'm wondering if Brainiac was ever actually alive or if he just like built himself a body.
Because he's always that little box. That's
Yeah.
how you know something about to go down. As soon as you see the three dots on the box, it's a wrap.
So yeah, because yeah, Brainiac is we've seen versions of Brainiac that are organic and versions of Brainiac that are not. Like
Mm-hmm.
OG Brainiac is like organic, like he's just a green dude. Um, and then later, Brainiac was very much like a robot with like the like cone head thing,
Mm-hmm.
and and he looked like his ship was just like his head.
Yeah.
And honestly, that ship was great.
I love when Brainiac builds the ship. I can always can't wait because I always wonder what it's going to look like. I mean, I have an idea because got the three dots, big ass eyes, but then it's always how is it going to look? But I always like when the tentacles is hanging out, start
Yeah,
grabbing stuff up.
I like the tentacles on the ship. And then yeah, so yeah, there are versions of Brainiac that are like the green dude, and then there are versions that are just a robot. And this movie kind of used both. In that
Mm-hmm.
he himself was the green dude, and then he used the robots to do what needed doing to do the work on the floor and get things done.
Ah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of
And
sense.
and so then yeah, he was doing like the scorpion to people, just like sending that spike through their heads. And he was killing people. And I like that one of the things that they said was he was learning as he did it. So he was killing at random, and then he was gathering knowledge from those people to then know who to kill and who not to
Mm-hmm.
kill and all that.
Because I was also wondering how did he get that? I mean, he like pretty much he scanned Superman and then just took his knowledge and then he was like, oh, Metropolis. Nah, change course. You
Yeah, and
know, so I was just
I'm wondering if that was knowledge that he had already acquired whenever Superman was incapacitated or not, because it seems like, yeah, he would have needed to already have that in order to know
mm-hmm.
that. Because I know that he had some Krypton knowledge, but he like read Superman's mind. And so
Yeah.
I think that he had already gotten what he needed from Superman and then just went through the file that he already made, is what I
Mm-hmm.
took that to mean. Because I don't know Brainiac as being able to just read minds, but he could be telepathic on his own ship. I don't know. Like on his own ship, he may have all the powers that anyone could have or that anyone could ever need.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would make sense for that to be the case because we've actually seen that in a couple of MCU items. Did you watch Ant-Man 3?
Yes. Yes.
So Kang on his ship was a problem.
Yeah.
Did you watch Guardians 3?
Yes, I did. Loved it.
Uh, the High Evolutionary on his ship, a problem. And so this could be, a similar situation where like on Brainiac's ship, and he showed that. Like that's why Superman had to get him off the ship in order to get anything done. But yeah, on his ship, he's too much.
Like, you got a bug.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a
Like,
bug in your program.
okay, okay, Kryptonian. He was like, I'll humor you.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. I enjoyed Brainiac in this. And Brainiac is not a villain that I like look for. But yeah, this might be the best version, or this might be my favorite version of Brainiac that I've seen. That I can recall. I know that there's a movie, Superman versus Brainiac, that's in the 90s and early 2000s animation. Like that one is the Superman the Animated Series version. Um, and that same Brainiac, I think, is the one that's in Static Shock.
Yeah, yes, it is.
There are the comic book versions of Brainiac. There's the Brainiac that appears in um Injustice. There's the Brainiac that's in Supergirl, which is a bunch of different versions of Brainiac, but the main villain Brainiac is a female Brainiac. But anyway, I think that as far as the Brainiacs I've seen, I think this is my favorite one. Because this one he was too much. But the way that he was defeated was just like, oh, that's all we had to do.
He gave that man a panic attack.
Yeah.
He gave him a panic attack.
Like
He was like, "You see that? You feel it? That's mud."
Yeah. You see the microorganisms that are
Right?
living on you right now?
Can you
Yeah.
smell it? Can you
He
feel it?
and then he just started naming things because yeah, it seems like that's how Superman has been able to defeat a few people. Well, not defeat, but like how like overstimulation. He was basically
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, all this shit that's happening right now, it's happening.
Right. You smell that fire that's 50 miles away. Can you see that pie baking on that corner that's 100 miles away? Like, and he was like,
Yeah.
ah,
He's like,
ah.
no, germs. And then exploded.
It got work. Superman was like, gotcha.
Yeah. So I feel like even though Superman kind of had to work for it, like he just and the way that it happened, because I've talked about the power of friendship in many episodes of the podcast, and the fact that Superman just decided, like, Earth, like Brainiac said, Earth ain't shit. I don't even need to keep it. It's not worth my time. And that's the thing where Superman was like, not my Earth. And then just, got all the powers he needed to win the day. I was like, that's all he had to do was just shit on Earth. And now you're able to break out of the machine that was initially siphoning you from the forehead.
Yeah, man, stabbed him in his forehead. And I was like, that gotta be some strong metal because Superman don't bleed too often.
And the thing is, whenever the first robot came in and like tried to do the scorpion thing, he was like, oh, that actually, I felt that.
He said, ping.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the point when I knew. I was like, oh, that's got some weight behind it if Superman felt it and he's just on Earth. But the fact that, yeah, like he had the leeches on his forehead and was bleeding, like they were sucking him dry. I was like, okay, yeah, he's gonna have some problems because, and I don't know if it's a situation where like he was still weak from something or because there was no sunlight on the ship. I don't know. I don't remember how Brainiac was able to get in there because he was
Right,
on Earth.
they came down and just pierced him. Wow.
Yeah,
Stuck straight into the forehead.
because he was on Earth when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So he should have had his powers back. And the fact that Brainiac was able to do that is why I'm under the impression that earlier in the movie, whenever Brainiac like read his mind and like knew where Metropolis was, that's how he did it. He already had it in the file, and he just had to go like check it real quick. But
He probably wasn't recharged because he went inside the dome in Kandor,
yeah,
and that he tried to fly out, it fell straight back down.
yeah,
Said,
I know that
red
hurt.
sun, red sun.
Yeah, that I know that didn't feel good. But yeah, he just used the power of friendship to break out, and that bothered me a little bit because I don't know. I just feel like there should have been like a smarter way to write that, or there should have been something else that happened, but it was literally just Brainiac started talking shit about Earth. Superman was like, all right, enough of that. And then just breaks out and is able to break out Supergirl and then wages war against the robot army. And then
Straight
just,
enemy spam.
yeah, and then just kicks Brainiac out of the ship, which I guess that's fine. I would, and Superman, I guess Superman could do it, but yeah, I was like, that ship, I guess it should have been harder for him to do that in my mind. But yeah, once Brainiac got outside, Brainiac was fighting for a while before his germophobia kicked in.
Yeah, because he didn't know nothing. He was just, wow, they was falling out the sky, which it kind of bothered me a little bit that Superman let him fall out of the sky. Like, you can fly. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
why are
you
you
can
falling?
just stop. Yeah, you can just stop and you can let him hit the ground and then y'all can go back at it. But y'all just banging in the air. And they
Yeah,
landed in the water.
because I would have stopped and lasered his ass.
Right.
Like,
That's all 3 hits. He can't fly.
he can't do anything. So he just gonna have to take this laser. And the laser's gonna help him down. But
Right.
yeah, that was I agree. That was also like, what are you doing? Why are you
Brandon
falling?
gonna be mad. Brandon gonna be mad.
Brandon will be fine.
Superman just he the toughest man, but why sometimes he got to be so trash? Like he kind of dumb. I mean, no racial. I mean, not no racial, but you know what I'm saying. He was born on a farm, so he can't be too smart.
Well,
Not much around there.
Superman is known for his intelligence in certain circles. But also Superman is very rarely the smartest person in the room, I guess.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
But Superman, I wouldn't say that he's dumb, but yeah, there are definitely some things I'm like, Superman, if I had your powers, things would just be a lot easier than this.
Yeah.
Like, a lot less effort would have been required of me if I was able to do what you can do. Like, what are you doing? Why are you making this difficult? But I guess the story has to happen. There has to be movie. There has to be stakes.
Hmm.
Because if we were in that situation, the movie would be 5 minutes long.
I
So
mean, at least whenever, Batman, that symbol go up in there, crime kind of calm down. They're like, let's calm
that's it.
down. Let's
Because yeah,
let's
that
relax.
and that's I guess one of the differences is that whenever those criminals at the beginning saw Superman, they were afraid, but not like they would have been if it had been Batman. Like
Uh-huh. I'll
when
give up.
Batman shows up, yeah, like we have watched people like literally just be like, nope, and just walk away. One of the greatest scenes in Batman is whenever Batman is in a room and a henchman goes in there, looks at Batman looks at him, and he closes that door. It's like, was anything going on in there? Nope.
Nope.
That was the correct answer.
Yeah. He was
Uh
like, nah, not today. I want to go home tonight. I'm just here trying to make my little bit of money. Go home. That
Superman does not do that to people. But that's a part of Superman's whole thing, is that
Mhm.
Superman doesn't, you know, get things done through fear. Whenever he does get things done through fear, it is terrifying. That's how we get stories like Injustice. When Superman decides to use fear on his side, it is not good.
I'm, I mean, I know it is later on, but I mean, you may be talking about Injustice. Is that the black and like black whites or black silver Superman?
No,
Whenever he starts like lobotomizing people,
so that one is actually, I think you're talking about an episode of Justice League. Um,
possibly.
and in that one, I am pretty sure that's Ultraman, but I don't know because I don't remember exactly if that one is Ultraman, but there is an alternate version of the Justice League called the Crime Syndicate, and
Hmm.
that's pretty much an evil version of Superman who the whole Justice League is doing a martial law type thing, and they're pretty much villains.
Yeah.
In Justice
Yeah.
League, I don't think it was
Mhm.
actually the Crime Syndicate, but I think that's who that one was based on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I
So
remember episode he was just because he got too strong and started lobotomizing people
yeah,
all together.
I think Doomsday showed up and he just like sent a couple lasers through Doomsday's head, and then Doomsday was done.
Yeah,
And Superman was like, "Yeah, I lobotomized him. He won't be a problem anymore."
walked off.
I was like, "Oh," and oh god, in Superman versus the Elite, it is the one of the best versions of that. That is my favorite Superman movie. We talk about that in episode 14. And in that one, have you seen Superman versus the Elite?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's the one where he uses fear to make a point. And that's one of the best Superman moments I've ever seen. The way he executes it is flawless, and that is a masterclass on why Superman needs to be the way he is, because if he's not, it's not okay for anybody involved.
I mean, he could definitely take over the world, but I mean, that's why we got Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd be all right. We'd be
Yeah.
good.
So it's in everybody's best interest that Superman is the way that he is, because I have said before, one of Superman's superpowers is goodness, because we have seen other Kryptonians not do that, to the point where Supergirl was like, let's leave. Like, it's lost. There's nothing we can do. It's Brainiac. I have seen this happen. We need to not be here when it does. And so yeah, I think that like bravery and goodness are a part of Superman's superhero package. But yeah, Superman was able to figure out that getting him out of his ship was the way to defeat him. So
Yeah.
Superman, has that on his side. But we then see, again, Brainiac's germophobia sets in. He loses horribly, and then they regrow Metropolis, and Superman, just starts doing PDA all over Lois. And
I knew it.
yeah, and then he proposes to her, and then it ends. So I guess she got what she wanted, because he ended up agreeing with her, which may also be a part of his super goodness. Who knows?
I mean, some would call it love. He was just like, I don't want her to go nowhere. So I mean, forget it. Why not?
Yeah. And I mean, he knows that he will be there to protect her whenever stuff happens. So,
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I meant to mention that watch that Jimmy had. Oh, killed me. Lois was like, "Hey, you got that watch?" He was like, "Yeah, press the button." But nobody's seen Superman in a long time. Press the button.
just press
And
the
all of a
button.
sudden, Supergirl comes up, and he like, "Oh hey," and you have to kiss the watch. He was like, let's bring baddies around. Jimmy, then Jimmy walked on out. It made his day.
Oh yeah. That was good. Another thing that happened in the movie that I thought was just absurd. So whenever the robots come down, you see that the military is like shooting them with tanks and missiles and shit, and nothing's happening. But then these
Bounce it off.
regular ass people are able to push them out of a window with a desk.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And my first thing was, why didn't the desk break?
Yeah.
Like, if they're, why didn't the desk break? It should
Again,
have
like
just,
they're being shot by military weapons and just walking through them. Like when the dust clears, they're just still going. So like they're not being stopped at all. But these regular people are able to just use a desk or a chair to push these same robots out of. What are we doing?
they shut the
How?
door. They shut the door.
Yep. Put a desk in front of the door, and it's like, yeah, this will stop them.
We're safe now.
But the military is ineffective. Oh, okay, that that's fine. And
Dropping bombs.
that's one of those continuity things. It's like, so y'all didn't see that when y'all were doing the movie. Like, I guess it makes
I would
sense
have been
that
better off them running away and like going upstairs or going like I would have been better off with them just running away in general instead of because the desk thing did mess. I was like, they ain't supposed to do that. They were just tossing Superman, but yet this desk pushed him out the window. So now done.
yeah, okay, that's cool. Um, but all right, that's just one of those little things that's like, eh. But um, scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving this movie?
Mm, I gotta give it an 8 because I'm not gonna be honest. I watched it more than once. It was
Okay,
actually pretty good. It was
it
actually
is
pretty
pretty
good. I
good.
gotta give it an 8. I gotta give it an 8.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Um, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I will say I enjoyed it more this time watching it than I did the first time I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean it's very solid. I did enjoy it. I had a good time watching it. So yeah, I think yeah, it's a good solid 7.5. There
Yeah, I
were
feel
some
like
like,
it flowed really well.
yeah, I think it was paced well. It didn't do too much, because there are some movies that will try to cram too much in, and I feel like this movie had an appropriate amount of material in it.
Yeah.
Um, I like that there were some, ideological discussions in the movie, as far as what being in a relationship is and what trying to protect someone versus trying to control every aspect of a situation.
Oh, look at you getting deep.
I mean, that's what the movie does. So,
Yeah.
I like that, it kind of stepped into that a little bit. Superman kind of had to make peace with the fact that he will never be able to have ultimate control over what happens in the world or to Lois.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess upon realizing that he doesn't have that control, he decided, I love her more than anything else, so we're gonna go ahead and do this.
Yeah,
Because
he pretty much hit that. It is what it is. Let's get it started.
yeah. So, a couple themes in here. It addressed trauma, because again, we saw Supergirl go through something and she was like, never again, not me.
Right, and then you see, you see how she turned up on him real quick. You like, girl, you got powers now. That's the difference. The back then, you was just like I said, you was just regular.
Yeah,
So
and
now
you
you
were a
got
child.
powers.
Yeah, you were a child. There was nothing you could do. Now you can do something.
Oh yeah,
So do something.
I know. I like the little duo fight. It was great. I'm not gonna lie. She got her little power. She got her powers back. She then woke up and was just like, oh, all right, this is what we doing. Cool.
Yeah. And ultimately, she's the one who saves the day, because that missile was going to destroy the entire solar system.
Yeah, that sun gave her a boost because I didn't think she was. At first, I didn't think she was gonna make it. But of course, I didn't think she was gonna make it. I was like, she ain't gonna make it. She's still flying behind it. She ain't gonna make it. Then the sun gave her that boost, and she was just like, ah. Then she got smart and blew the thing out. Just like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Because I mean, we knew that the closer she gets to the sun, the more, powerful she'll be. So luckily it worked out. But I mean, I knew that because the movie had to happen, of course she was going to
Mm-hmm.
catch it. Because if she didn't catch it, then it was like, oh, the sun is gone. Like, what are we gonna
we
do?
wasted our time. Yeah, we won the battle, but we lost the war. All right.
Yeah. So I guess that was maybe the petty thing that Brainiac did in this one, was he tried to just say, you know what, I'm gonna just destroy all of it, because why
And
not?
he said he was gonna destroy it anyway. He was like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get rid of it, make space for something else. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
pretty much. But yeah, good solid movie. Definitely enjoyed it. There are, you know, I'd say, in my opinion, there are better movies on both sides of this, because the last movie that we discussed is clearly one of my favorites, and then the movie that we discuss after this is another one of my favorites. So I think that it's still good. And thank you for being here with me.
Man, it's a pleasure. I listen to every single one of them. They're great, hilarious, and then it also gives me something to do at night. You know, it's my late night movie. I'm like, what was the last movie Spencer talked about? Let's see. Let's go ahead and watch that one then.
See, people need to be like you.
Like,
You
man,
need to.
but like I said,
I need everybody to be like Jermaine. I hope that you will inspire the folks to, take the entire journey.
man, it's a fun journey because they're really good movies, especially for people who don't like animated. Just for the fact is, they get a little bloody. You know, we saw some people get shot in the beginning, like the first 10 seconds after the credits. Like, they was getting shot. Like, oh, that's crazy.
And that's like, again, like the robots were doing the scorpion get over here to people,
Yeah.
like straight through the forehead.
Right.
And
Go ahead, give me that information for you real quick.
yeah, like
This
these
one's dead. Get another one. Move
yeah,
on.
these movies are and they're, again, they're that's the whole reason we're doing this, because they're real good.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
can't wait.
anything else on this one?
One more thing, and then I'll be done. When he smashed Brainiac's head with that beam, you see Brainiac's face right before it smashed him. He was shocked. He was like, no, and just straight and start piecing them up. And the Brainiac was like, nah, you got me messed up. You got to come up out my suit.
Yeah. Yes. It was good. I enjoyed it. So, in the next episode, we will be discussing Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. So until then, salutations.